Hello, this is my Psychology 4 assignment, the Hole's Drive theory and the inverted U and the catastrophe theories alongside arousal. This is by Kyle Winter, Win 16003628. Let's get started. So arousal is the state in which you are ready to exercise, including not only the physiological side of the performance, but also the psychological side as well, so it's a mixture of both. So firstly, the Hole's Drive theory. Arousal can influence on performance, but this influence can be positive or negative. The Hole's Drive theory was created in 1943, which states, when the arousal levels increase, the performance levels also do increase. This can be described as a straight line, or, in other words, the more professional way, the linear fashion. The actual performance depends on also the skill of the performer, as some people can exaggerate the arousal levels. For example, an elite athlete, if they become too aroused, they are likely to return to their dominant response, which is normally positive, as they have learned to control arousal and use it as an advantage because of specialist coaches and other things to help them along the way. Whereas, if they are not elite athletes, then they are likely to become over aroused and maybe lose their will and become aggressive in the play and do things they wouldn't normally do. Say, foul someone and give away a free kick or a penalty, which could cost them the game, or get suspended because of a red card, or things like that. Therefore, this shows that the Hole's Drive theory can be beneficial and linked to elite athletes, as they can control arousal, but may not link to non-elite athletes, as they have not been trained to control arousal. Due to this occurrence, this can lead to the catastrophe theory, which we'll get a bit onto later. The inverted U theory. The inverted U theory states and agrees that arousal does improve performance, but only up to a certain level. When the arousal peaks, it will give off a positive performance, and make you perform to an optimal level. However, if the arousal has been pushed beyond the peak, this will then cause the occurrence of a decrease in the level of performance as you are too aroused, leading to maybe aggression. Therefore, when the participant hits the perfect level of arousal, everything should feel good. For example, Joey Barton could be having a real good game as he's been aroused to the optimal level. However, he's been pushed beyond this peak due to a comment, meaning he'll lash out or maybe try and focus on getting the opponent back through the game, meaning a decrease in performance as he's only concentrating on that one person who abused him, and then leading maybe to a red card or a yellow card, causing a substitution or a sending off. So the catastrophe theory. The catastrophe theory contains 4 stages, which explains the path of a certain individual would take. Stage A, this is where you are performing at optimal level, at the very top of the linear fashion. At this stage, cognitive and somatic anxiety are high, causing catastrophe. An example of this is a footballer playing at his best, showing their skill and technique, like Lionel Messi, the best player in the world arguably, playing at his best. Stage B, this is the point where at the bottom of the drop, showing that the individual has suddenly done something bad affecting their performance. This also shows that extreme arousal can continue leading to further decline or can reduce leading to recovery. An example of this is an individual in a team. This is stage C. This is the line which fades out away from the diagram. Arousal and anxiety are still high, causing this decline. And stage D, the performer regains arousal and control of anxiety, which then means arousal levels return to its optimum level. Stage D will be more likely for the elite performer, as they have been taught and learned to gain back from arousal, meaning they can return to their optimal level. However, a non-elite athlete, if they go through this theory, will more likely be at stage C, as they have not been taught to control their arousal levels, and once they have been past the peak, they are not likely to return, as they have done something aggressive and caused a suspension or a substitution. An example of this catastrophe theory in place is a football team progressing to the finals of a football tournament. And then the high winners, the most likely winners for the tournament, the big favourites. However, in the finals, the match starts and they choke under pressure, causing them a loss and a big upset of the season. Narrow attention span. In the narrow attention span, this will mean that you will have higher arousal and you are concentrating on a singular thing at a time, not being aware of your surroundings or the situations occurring around you, leading towards more aggressive behaviour. For example, getting two-footed in football, you're distracted because you want to get the player back for what he did to you. This means you miss a pass played and the opposition scores, or a player makes a run, you don't trap the runner because you're too concentrated on the other player who two-footed you, and he goes through the defence and he scores, and that will be your fault and you to blame because you weren't concentrating enough on the whole game rather than the individual. The broad attention span. This means that you have a lower arousal as you are concerning all the surroundings and the environment you are performing in. This will mean you are more likely to see things better than you would if you had a narrow attention span. Therefore, if someone had a dislike of football and they went to watch a game, they'll see all the fine details throughout. So say if a paper airplane was thrown onto a pitch, or they saw a conker flying across the like flying across the pitch and that. Whereas someone who enjoys it will just focus on the game, so they'll know if there's a goal going to happen, or they won't see the person bringing all the food down from the bar and stuff. And also, an example is a footballer who has no pressure on him. He's concentrating on the game and he goes to pass a ball, but he sees a person in a similar colour kit to his teammates. However, this person was on the sidelines and he just passed it to them out of play, meaning he hasn't taken in, he's only focusing on that individual bit. Now, optimal attention span. This means that you have optimal arousal, which means that you are more likely to perform better, as evidence is shown through the inverted U theory. This also means that you are in the zone and everything is going right for you. You are properly prepared for the exercise. A big example of this is Usain Bolt. When Usain Bolt broke the record, it was amazing, but it shows that he was properly in the zone. His acceleration was perfect, his build up was perfect, and his finish was perfect, meaning he destroyed the record and will be most likely to keep this record through the ages. Thank you for listening, and that's my psychology assignment.